Hello students, welcome to this model number 2. We are going to discuss about the failure of materials and alloys and steel properties. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to discuss about some of the concept that is a common alloy steels, stainless steels, tool steel and designation of steels. Okay, let us discuss one by one. What do you mean by common alloy steels? Okay, so common alloy steels, uh, before discussing in detail, so what are the types of common alloy steels we will discuss. So this term alloy steel is used to where that significant amounts of alloying elements, such as if you take a nickel or chromium, molybdenum, manganese, silicon, vanadium, etc. are included. So these are all we call as alloy steels, and these alloy steels are generally more responsive to heat and mechanical treatment than carbon steels. Okay, so this some of the commonly used alloy steels are we are discussing now. So first one is the high strength low alloy steel and medium alloy nickel chromium steel and margining maraging steels. Okay, so these are all different types of common alloy steels. So let us discuss one by one what is meant by high strength low alloy steels. High strength low alloy steels have been developed for use of structural steels. So these kind of things are going to be used for the welding purpose, and it can be carried out for the joining the sections without the riveting need for riveting. Okay, this term low alloy is used because of the total amount of alloying elements is less than the about 2% of alloying element. So this one of the such steel has 0.2% of carbon and 1.5% of manganese and 0.003% to 1.1% the neobium and 0.0032 to 0.1% vanadium. Okay, so these are all some alloying element which are elements were taken, and this high strength of this material has to achieve by not adding a carbon instead of addition of manganese, neodymium, and vanadium. Okay, these are the suitable proportions instead of carbon. And the next one is medium alloy nickel chromium steels. So medium alloy nickel chromium steel means the term medium alloy steel is used for when the total amount of alloying elements is between 2 to 10%. So the medium alloy nickel chromium steel are widely used for the moderate to high temperature of tensile high tensile strength, and its hardness are going to be required. So when this chromium and nickel are added to this steel, the limiting grain size property of nickel with carbide, it forming the property of chromium and it combining to give a very widely used for alloy steels. And this nickel chromium steel contains about 0.1 to 0.55% of carbon and 1 to 4.75% of chromium and 0.3 to 0.8% of manganese, and they are used in those applications where heat resistance is or that corrosion resistance is going to be required. So this is about the medium alloy nickel chromium steels. And then finally the maraging steels. So what is maraging steels means this type of steel contains 18% of nickel and 7 to 8% of cobalt and 5% of molybdenum and about 0.5% of titanium. These are all the combination. So this carbon content is kept low, less than around 0.3%, since otherwise what happened, the high nickel content could lead this formation of graphite in the presence of the carbon in the structure. So the consequentially decreases in strength and the hardness. So maraging steels are used for the applications where high strength with good fracture toughness is required, they are using. And for example, the aircraft under carriage parts are punchers and die for cold forgings, or die casting or extrusion die for aluminum and other materials. So these are all the managing steels. Okay, so next we'll discuss about stainless steel. Again, in the day, stainless steel means iron carbon alloy with the chromium content ranging from 11.5% to 25%, depending upon the properties which is going to be desired. And what happened for the chromium, we are considering for the stainless steel, so it which helps to resist the corrosion in steels. Okay, and you may have observed that while taking the shape of that any razor or blade, they marked or they mentioned it is a stainless steel, means the chromium which will helps to resist the corrosion in steels. And also this stainless steel gets its name because of does not corrode or strain easily compared to other types of steels. So hence we call it as a stainless steel. And the resistance to attack is due to a naturally occurring chromium, and which is forms a rich oxide film on the surface of the steel. So this film is rapidly self repairing in the presence of oxygen, and the damage by the absorption, abrasion, and cutting or machining. So this stainless steel can be divided into five basic categories. One is austenitic austenitic stainless steel, and ferrite stainless steel, and martensite stainless steel, and ferrite steel, and duplex stainless steel. Okay, so we'll discuss one by one about what are the different characteristics of that different form of stainless steels. Okay, so in case of authentic stainless steel, uh, it is a sufficient amounts are going to be added for the nickel into this stainless steel. So because the crystal structure changes to the aesthetic material, the steel, and this aesthetic stainless steel are non-magnetic or non-heat treatmentable steel, but are usually annealed and cold worked to improve the certain properties. Okay, so around a typical composition of this kind of steel, 18 to 8, that is 18-8 means stainless steel consists of 18% of chromium and 8% of nickel, along with the other alloying elements like carbon, manganese, etc. Since this type of steel are going to be considered for the soft and prone to surface damage, and it is widely used in kitchen utensils like knives, forks, spoons, and etc. So these are all about authentic stainless steel. And next, ferrite stainless steel means um, around 12-22% with a very lattice, little nickel and carbon content is going to be considered, along with the molybdenum and aluminum and titanium are mostly added to obtain favorable property of such kind of steels. Okay, and for ferrite stainless steels are used in what we can say computer floppy disk hub and automotive exhausters and hot water tanks, etc. So here in this cases they are using. And next one is martensite stainless steel. Again I can say these are used for manufacture the knife blades and surgical instruments, where in medical field there are very sensitive uh, operations are going to take place. So here this such kind of material used for making surgical instrument and shafts and spindles. Okay, these are all the things they are used martensite stainless steel. Next, ferrite steel, and also it will be considered of molybdenum, chromium, and other carbon materials which are included. So these are all about the different form of alloying the stainless steel which are used going to help for the property changes of material. Okay, so this duplex, one more thing is duplex stainless steel. So what happened? It is a mixture of microstructure and austenitic and ferrite. Okay, duplex means a combination of austenitic and ferrite, and that can be to produce a 50 to 50 a 50 mix of all through this commercial alloy, and this mix may be a 40-60 respectively. Okay, this duplex steel have improved the strength and corrosion of the resistance of the material. So this is all about the different stainless steel, and let us discuss in the next topic, that is tool steel. Okay, what is mean by tool steel? In tool steel, usually they consider for the high speed steels. So these are all called as because they are capable of cutting at speeds and about 4 times faster than the carbon steel tools, and which is was once they are only cutting tool available for the metal cutting operations. So these composition are going to be considered. That is for HSS, containing a tungsten, molybdenum, and usually and chromium and vanadium in a suitable proportions to make this HSS steel. And these are again there are two types: T type and M type of HS steel. So in T type, what happened? 18 to 4.1, that H is in common use. This containing 18 is the tungsten, 4 is chromium, and 1 is vanadium. In this addition to carbon of 0.7%. But in case of HSS M type, there is 6642. HS is common use and containing 6% of molybdenum and 6% of tungsten and 4% of again chromium and 2% of vanadium, in addition with the carbon content of 0.6%. So this is all about the uh, HSS tool steel. And finally some of the steel designation steel we are using. For example, for automotive engineers, that is our American Iron and Steel Institute has established standard for the some specific analysis of the steel. For example, if it is SAE 104, if you take, that is 1 is indicates for the carbon steel and 0 is indicates for the plain carbon steel, and 40 is carbon content. This is that is 0.4% of carbon content. This is about the specification of that particular steel. So I hope you understood this concept, and we'll discuss in some other topics in the next video.